scoring touchdowns. Hear the hits, feel the blitz, taste the end zone. Here we go into the highlight zone. Yeah!
It's the ABC 12 Highlight Zone, sponsored by Al Serra Auto Plaza. Now here's ABC 12 Sports Director Dave Ciseski.
Good evening and welcome to Week 3 of the Highlight Zone. I'm Dave Ciseski. Big games, big plays, and bigger stories. It's all right here tonight. We start the action with a game that has our attention for good reason. Tonight, it's a rivalry in Burton as Bentley hosts in Bendel, just 7 miles separating these two communities. But on the football field, the gap feels a whole lot closer. Bragging rights are on the line, and every play tonight will matter in this heated showdown. It's the Tigers versus the Bulldogs in our game of the week. Tigers have won 4 of the last 5 to head, including 50-48 triple overtime thriller in 2022. But in a rivalry like this, it's anyone's game tonight. After a defensive battle in the first quarter, Bendel began to move the ball. Deep pass to Caleb Bingham would set the Tigers in the red zone. Bingham just 2 plays later. How about this? He'd get the ball again, this time as a running back, racing Bulldog defenders to the edge and punching it into the end zone for a Bendel touchdown. The 2-point conversion would put the Tigers up 14-0 early in the second quarter. Bentley would respond with a quick field goal of their own, however, and after their best offensive drive of the night, picking up the first points of the game and gaining offensive momentum. But the Tigers, they'd respond again. Quarterback Landon Mattis pump fake, scrambles away from the Bulldog defense and fires downfield, finding wide receiver Ashton Rodriguez, breaking tackles and settling the Tigers up here once again. Here they sets him up, and that offense would take advantage. The Tigers would continue to march into Bentley red zones, handing the ball to Jaheim Lewis, who slithers his way between blockers and defenders on his way to the touchdown. That gave Bendel a 22-3 lead. The time expiring in the second quarter, Bendel would mount a drive, looking to put points on the board before half. It's going to be quarterback Cadenzi Curl who would find Gage Bailey, putting the Bulldogs in field goal range here, while taking a big hit on the Bentley sideline. Ouch! But with just 22 seconds left in the half, a pressured throw would go the way of the Tigers as Breon Baker picks off the Bentley QB, slamming the door in the first half, leading 22-3. Bendel wins 22-17. Well, Grand Blanc has won 4 of the last 5 against Heritage. However, the Hawks took the Cats to the wire last year before falling 22-21. First drive of the game, and the Hawks would convert on a 2 4th downs here in the first one. 4th and 1, Jace Benlander takes the direct snap and moves the chains. Second one, even better. 4th and 6, Braden Ball with the drop back, and he'll hit the receiver in the corner of the end zone. Kingston Wright with a 17-yard strike. Hawks take the 7-0 lead. First touch of the game for Jake Morrow was money. He'll throw a slant to Mike Kemp, and Kemp says, "Answer the phone, I'm making the house call." 56-yard strike. Cats tie it up at 7 apiece. They weren't done. Next possession, Cats back at it. Morrow rolls to his right, then hits Kemp again. He'll shake the defender, and nothing but end zone ahead, putting him in the end zone there again for the second time, 14-7. Hey, take a bow, Kemp. Second quarter, Hawks going in on 4th and 2, and they're stuffed, led by Elijah Wells. Bobcats are going to take over inside the 30. 1st and 10 now from the 10, and Morrow finds off to Dalen Taylor, and Taylor goes in untouched up the heart of the defense. Grand Blanc wins 56-27. They improve to 3-0. Well, Linden's offense is soaring at 43 points a game, while Kersley's still searching for a spark. That's one way to watch the game. How about that? Kersley, Aiden Tipton in the first quarter to Big Van. Jarrell Pano pushed him through the end zone for the tutty. 7-zip Hornets. Second quarter, Kerr Williams punches through for the score. Linden takes the 14-7 lead late in the half when Kersley's tipped in with the throw to Landon Tuck into the end zone for the strike. Hornets down 1 after the failed point conversion, but Linden would get even. As Widner to Jalen Babcock, he'll dodge around Hornets to bring it home. The Eagles win big here, and they have won 8 of the last 10 in the series. Well, it's the battle of orange and black versus the black and orange. Flushing, coming off a 1-point loss last week against Zeeland East, visited Fenton, who also lost by 1 point to Hazlitt. Each team looking for the first win in the season, and it was Military First Responder Appreciation Night in Fenton. What a way to deliver the game ball there. The Tigers were the first to get on the board in this game with 3:50 left in the first quarter. 4th and 10. Noah Shell would go deep and find the receiver in the back of the end zone. That's Nate Fuller for the touchdown. Tigers up 7-0. The Raiders would come back and respond, however. 4th and 7 from the 34. Ethan LaRoe would find Nakari Coulter for the huge first down to the 6-yard line. Very next play, Running back Drew Fisher would take the direct snap and run it in for the touchdown. Extra point was blocked. Tigers up 7-6 at the end of the first quarter. Fenton's next possession to start the second. Tigers would get inches from the end zone only to have it intercepted. How about that? That's a huge play in the deflection from Raymond Neither, keeping the Tigers out of the end zone. Final score in this one, 41-12, Fenton. Well, it's time to take a break. When we return, we'll check in with the Davison Cardinals, a team looking to keep their stellar start going as they hit the road to take on Traverse City Central. A battle of 2-0 squads looking to make an early season statement. Highlights coming up next. Welcome back. The Davison Cardinals are riding high after a thrilling 23-21 win over Warren De La Salle last Friday. With explosive playmakers, a tenacious defense, and a state title-winning coach leading the way, they have all the ingredients to stay perfect at 3-0 this season. Well, Cardinals and head coach Jake Weingart's looking to move to 3-0 for the second time in the last 5 years. A lot of potential and talent in the squad. Traverse City 2-0 in the start, however, in the season. First quarter, TCC's Trent Glee finds the edge, and he was gone. Touchdown run puts Traverse City up 14-9. But the Cards would get some momentum going. How about this punt return from Robert Martin? Punt return master weaving in and out of traffic, setting the offense looking pretty here. Davison would punch it in with Ty Anthony Lewis for the tutty, and that would make it 17-14 Davison. They'd never look back. TCC's Turnwald, the quarterback here, going to try and force something downfield, but the Cards were ready. It's picked off by Martin, who runs it all the way back into enemy territory. What a play. That would set up the offense once again. He gets the assist there. Davison's Jacob Garris now off to the races, and watch him go. Davison gets the big win, 31-14, moving to 3-0. Well, Bay City Western hits the road to take on Midland, the Chemics, tonight. Warriors 2-0 in the season after just 3 wins all last year. Chemics won 44-9 last year. Western gets on the board first, a field goal by Brooks Snowchell to make it 3-0, but Midland answers back. How about the quarterback keeper, Tabor Edwards-Benner, for the tutty up the middle, and then once again, right before the half, Benner connects with Wilson Kaloa for the touchdown, making it 14-3 Midland. Chemics would go on to win this game 14-10. Well, it's a big thumb clash in Vassar as the Vulcans host the Rockets. Last year, these two teams battled to the wire, with Vassar edging out a thrilling 2-point victory. This year, not so much. First quarter, it's going to be a punt return to the house. Now, if there was a number to keep an eye on in this game, I'm telling you, it's number 11. Senior Dagan Carter would have a night. He finds his way to the end zone here. And a few plays later, how about this play? It's going to be a sack and then a fumble. Reese gets the ball right back in enemy territory. Then skipping ahead, Vassar Junior QB Maddox Gorleski with the save on the high snap, but stretching the play, not afraid to let it fly, and it's picked off. Gorleski is going to get picked off in the next play here. Scrambling, looking to make something happening. But junior Eli Adair in the back of the end zone with the pick for the Rockets. That INT would set them up for more action with Carter on the ground for 2 more tutties in the second quarter. The Rocket running game leading to a big win. Reese getting some revenge in Vassar, 42-20. Well, 2 undefeated powerhouses collide as the Ithaca Yellow Jackets take on Lutheran Seminary. Both teams averaging nearly 40 points a game while holding opponents under 10. First drive of the game, Seminary quarterback Andrew Miller airs it out. Simeon Kober for a statement touchdown. Cardinals up early, 7-0. How about the next drive? Ithaca QB Grayson Merchant tosses it to Elijah Smith, who runs it down 50 yards before being stopped at the Michigan Lutheran 10. And both offenses starting out hot in this one. How about a couple plays later? Merchant with the strike in the corner of the end zone. That's a dart. Ithaca down by 1. Merchant and the Jackets go for 2, but the Cardinals defensive back Connor McMurphy with the interception. They go on to score a touchdown on that drive, putting their lead up to 8. But redemption strikes for Ithaca. How about this play? Merchant throws to Devin Fisher for a 70-yard strike. Yeah, 70 yards. Ithaca wins it in OT, 42-40. Well, it's time now to check in on our Spotlight scoreboard. Freeland falling 31-7. What a huge win for Swan Valley here as they go 2-1. Carmen Ainsworth falling 53-18 to Holt. Goodrich keeps winning, and in a big way tonight, 48-7 over Brandon. They move to 3-0. High scoring affair in Mount Pleasant. They get the best of Dow, 63-39. And Lapeer with the 21-6 victory over Saginaw United. Clio with the 46-22 victory tonight, and they remain perfect at 3-0. Well, time for the highlight of the night, and it was a dandy. How about Davison Cardinal Robert Martin with the incredible pick, and not just the interception, but the return to take it back into enemy territory, which would lead to a final blow of the night, leading Davison to a huge win. They moved to 3-0 in the season. Your highlight of the night, Mr. Robert Martin with the no-fly zone pick. Well, the votes are in, and with nearly 70% of the tally, Grand Blanc, the Bobcats are your Week 2 Elga Fan Zone winners. The Bobcats have now punched their ticket to the postseason round, but the spotlight now shifts to Week 3. And the question is, who's the loudest, proudest student section around? Tonight, we're featuring the fired up fans from Bendel, Bentley, Heritage, and Fenton. Only one can move on, and that decision is in your hands. Head over to abc12.com/fanzone to cast your vote in our online poll. Each week, we crown a new winner until one school is named the ultimate Elga Fan Zone champion. Tonight, we caught up with the student section at Grand Blanc, who are loud and ready to dominate.
Oh, right now you can't really see it, but we're such a special group because everyone comes out and everyone supports the team. Everyone supports the football team. Everyone gets loud. Everyone gets hyped for the games. Everyone follows the themes and has fun. But you should vote for us because the environment's great out here, and it's fun, and everyone's involved in the chants and stuff. Everyone's involved and stuff, and it's fun.
Well, Michigan State is back at Spartan Stadium this weekend, looking to move to 3-0 in the year. The Spartans coming off that dramatic double overtime win over Boston College. And while they're happy to be home, they know they can't overlook Youngstown State. The Penguins come in as heavy underdogs, but MSU focused on taking care of business and keeping the momentum rolling. Kickoff at 3:30 tomorrow afternoon. Well, Michigan offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey spoke to the media ahead of Saturday's matchup with Central Michigan. Lindsey says the freshman quarterback Bryce Underwood has made steady progress in his first 2 starts, and it's the coach's job to simplify the offense and get back to basics to help their talented quarterback succeed.
I think simplifying means doing what we've proven in practice probably that we're good at. Each year's different, so I think really focusing on getting back to the fundamentals and basics of what we're able to execute, because a lot of plays are good, they look good on paper, right? And then you get out there and you're trying to, you don't want to ask your guys to do things maybe we're not real good at. And I think in some ways you don't know that until you've played a game or two and played some games. In practice, we go against our defense every day, and then you get a feel of what they do and how they get a feel of what we do, vice versa. But I think for us, it's getting back to the basics and fundamental. I think that's what you do anytime you don't play well. You go back to the basics and you say, hey, we're going to be good at these things. We know we can execute these things at a high level no matter what the defense does, and I think that's kind of been our focus.
Well, the Lions looking to get back on track as they welcome in the Bears. A lot of buzz surrounding Ben Johnson's offense, especially the trick plays, things that used to catch opposing defenses off guard. But head coach Dan Campbell isn't sweating those flashy moves. He says his focus is on fundamentals, stopping the run, making tackles, and executing assignments. Campbell admits, however, the Bears may pull off a trick play here or there, but it's important to move on to the next play.
Well, I think, look, you'll practice 1 or 2 things. You do for every opponent, but I mean, I don't really care about trick plays. Let's just handle the meat and potatoes of an offense, a defense, what we think they're going to hang their hat on, and let's stop that first. Let's worry about that. Let's make sure we're all on point, and we'll handle the other stuff with our rules. You got to have proper eyes, man. We give you those rules for a reason, and look, they may hit us on one. That's all right. That happens. Get back in the huddle and let's go to the next play.
Well, that'll do it for Week 3 of the Highlight Zone. Thanks for spending your Friday night with us. The season is heating up, and the big plays just keep coming, so we'll be right back here next week. Even more high school football action, and make sure you tune in this weekend. I'll have highlights from Ann Arbor, plus Ford Field's Lions taking on the Bears. Have a good night, everybody.